What's going on, guys? Welcome to the This Is Wrestling podcast. We're going to be talking about the April 15th episode of Monday Night Raw. This was a really good episode of Raw. I really enjoyed it from top to bottom. I just think the last 6 weeks or 7 weeks or so since I've actually been watching Raw and SmackDown every week, there hasn't been a time where I felt like I've just wasted an evening watching wrestling like how I would have felt 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago maybe. So definitely since I've started doing this podcast, for sure, I've noticed that, just it's a completely different product. And I think wrestling has to be viewed in a completely different way. I mean, you look at it from the opening package that they have now, it looks just like Marvel. Triple H has said he wants to make WWE basically replicating the MCU. It feels like everything is a little more serious, even though it is still funny and unserious at times. There are some more serious elements, which is, it hasn't been done since I've ever been watching wrestling. So this is all very new to me, very cool for me. And I think this is why the podcast is called This Is Awesome, because I think right now wrestling has just been so good. And I'm excited to talk about this show tonight. So tonight, Raw was live from Montreal at the Bell Center. Very cool, because I got to see Elimination Chamber in Montreal, actually. I went with my girlfriend, went for SmackDown and the pay-per-view. So we got to see Roman and Sami, which was sick. The whole arena was chanting, "Fuck you, Roman." It was so cool. So anyways, Rhea Ripley kicks off the show tonight. Rhea's coming out with sling. Her arm's in a sling. She's been injured by Liv Morgan from the assault that happened on her last week when, Liv threw the chair at her head. And then Rhea just, I don't know, she didn't specify the injury, but she's hurt. So unfortunately, she has to give the news that she has to vacate the women's title. Fuck, why? I think this is a work, though. My buddy told me that he heard that she's getting married. I don't know. I try not to stay on the internet when it comes to wrestling. I feel like for me, when I want to watch my wrestling, I just want to enjoy it, because I spent a lot of my teen years really involved with the internet wrestling community, and I just it was so toxic at times. I couldn't handle it, so I try to stay away from internet dirt sheets and on the internet side of wrestling. But my buddy told me that he heard that she's getting married. So I mean, good for her and Buddy. Congratulations if that's true, and enjoy the time off, Rhea. You have earned it. I guess this is a good way for her to lose the belt if she is going to lose it and take some time off. Just fake an injury and let someone else hold it so that you don't pull a John Jones and hold up the division. But anyways, so Rhea says if she sees Liv Morgan at all tonight because of how pissed off she is at her, they better restrain her, because she's going to go to Montreal jail, which she made sound totally different from regular jail. I don't know what the difference between Montreal jail and, just jail would be. But, cheap pop, I guess. So Liv Morgan actually comes out, and of course there's 5 security guards around her trying to hold her back. Rhea Ripley tries to run out of the ring and attack her, but Adam Pearce tries to hold her back. So we got some security guards on Liv, security guards on Rhea. They don't actually get to, hit each other because Rhea's hurt. And then Rhea Ripley headbutts a security guard. He drops to the ground and the segment ends. So, Rhea Ripley just headbutts a guy, and that's the end of it. So, anyways, backstage, as Rhea walks out, there's a Judgment Day segment where, they all give each other a big hug, and she rides off into her new chapter of her personal life. So again, if the rumors are true, congratulations to Buddy and Rhea. Up next, we get the return of Sheamus on Monday Night Raw. He's been out of action for about 8 months, so he's finally coming back in tonight. And he's facing off against Ivar, who has been like on an insane singles run right now ever since Eric, the other Viking Raider, has been hurt. So I love seeing Ivar on TV every week on like every show, because he's really showing off what he can actually do in the ring. It's amazing, because when Eric and Ivar first joined the WWE, they didn't really showcase what they could truly do on the main roster. They showed it in NXT, but on the main roster, you didn't see a whole lot of it. So it's good to see that Ivar is, really making a nice run right here. Props to him. But anyways, when Sheamus comes out to make his entrance, it's a mix between his new theme song he's been using for the last few years and Written in My Face, which was cool. So his old theme song is kind of back, which is awesome. I love his old song. I think it's just it's nostalgic in a way, Anyways, during the match, Michael Cole mentions that it was, I believe, 5 years to the day where Ivar and Eric made their debut on the main roster, actually in Montreal too. I don't know why he didn't mention the Viking experience. He could have just said, the Viking Raiders made their debut 5 years ago today, but he brought up the whole Viking experience thing, which, did you really have to do that, Cole? I mean, anyways, during this match, Ivar hits a springboard off of the second rope to Sheamus. Sheamus, I think, looked like he tried to hit a brogue kick, but maybe Ivar came too close. Maybe he didn't realize how fucking athletic Ivar was. So when Ivar came off the rope, he kind of caught him with his knee instead. I don't know if it was intentional. Maybe it was the knee, but it looked like maybe he was trying to hit the brogue. Anyways, after he hits that, Sheamus pulls down his knee pad. He hits the bicycle knee strike, which Michael Cole said he calls the kneecap, and hits the brogue kick to get the W on Ivar. So yeah, this was a good hard-hitting match between some two big meaty men. After the match, Sheamus goes over to the broadcast booth with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, and he celebrates with them, knocking over Pat McAfee's drink in the process. Next, Triple H comes out. Him and Adam Pearce, that they will be having new Raw Tag Team Championships. So there's 2 new belts in the ring. They're covered by the the black cover that they use, I guess. They bring out the Awesome Truth. They get You Deserve a chance. At one point, it sounded like they were saying Truth deserves it, but I don't know if they were saying You Deserve it, and the accent was just conflicting with what I heard. But either way, whatever it was, totally agree, they deserve it. And Triple H even pointed it out. He said, Truth, I'm so happy to see that you got that WrestleMania moment. And, the Miz was, right there on top of it with them. They were just both, just giving Truth the world, giving him his praise. And it was a really nice moment. So, they unveiled the new World Tag Team Championships. I think they look really good. I think they're the best looking tag team titles they've had since I've ever been watching. I mean, ever since they brought in the Bronze Penny tag team titles. That's what they had when I first started watching wrestling. And they look good. I mean, I hope they do something kind of different with the SmackDown titles. I hope it's not too similar, which I think it will be a little different. I'm hoping. But, this is a good start, like Triple H said, for the new era. So, R-Truth during this segment thinks that Triple H is a magician. He believes that Triple H just made the titles appear from under the black curtain. So the Miz has to tell R-Truth in French that these are actually their new belts. Truth doesn't understand until the Miz actually says it in French, which we get another French moment tonight, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then Truth understands as soon as Miz speaks French to him. So, good. They were chanting "we," and then Miz goes, "No, it's actually yes, but we means yes." Like, you don't have to ruin it, Miz. But anyways, Triple H gets pissed off with Truth. Truth is too much. So Triple H leaves the ring, and Adam Pearce announces that there will be a triple threat tag team match coming up next to determine the number 1 contender for their new titles. So first out, we get DIY, of course, who R-Truth thinks is DX. So DIY comes out. We get the Creed brothers and then the New Day competing for the number one contendership. During the New Day's entrance, we get a little glitch in the screen. Maybe something that has to do with Uncle Howdy. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll see what comes of it, because that's kind of what Bray Wyatt did. There's been more subtle like glitches and little things on the broadcast that have hinted to like a Bray Wyatt type return, like some sort of character that has to do with his little universe. So I'm guessing Uncle Howdy, but anyways, we start the match here. It's a proper triple threat tag team match, which I like, because normally when they do triple threat tag team matches, there's 2 guys in the ring, and then the third team has to tag somebody in, which I've always hated that. I've always really disliked that. Like, if you're gonna have 3 teams, you can't just leave a team out. Like, that just doesn't make sense. So in this match, there were 3 legal men all at the same time, which I thought was awesome. That was amazing. So at one point in this match, Julius Creed ends up hitting a standing moonsault on Kofi, and Kofi Kingston gets the knees up, and I think he caught him in the balls. I couldn't tell, but it looked like he hit him low. The Creed brothers were killing it in this match. At one point, they hit a double Northern Lights suplex. I think Brutus hit 2 guys with the Northern Lights. Or no, Julius hit 2 guys at the same time with the Northern Lights. Brutus rolled up Tommaso Ciampa with his legs while hitting a Northern Lights suplex on one of the other 4 men, and they pinned them all 4 men at the same time. That was sick. That was a sick spot. From what I've seen of the Creed brothers, their wrestling is they're really good technical wrestlers, but they're also big guys too, and they can move, and they're legit. I like them a lot. So DIY ended up picking up the win after hitting the super kick knee strike combo on Xavier Woods. I don't know what you call it. So DIY are the new number 1 contenders for the World Tag Team Championship. So I'm guessing we'll get DIY and Awesome Truth at Backlash. Up next, we get a replay from last week's Monday Night Raw, Fatal 4-Way, where CM Punk screws Drew McIntyre out of winning the shot to face Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. So they cut to a backstage segment here. Drew McIntyre is watching on the TV screen. Kayla Braxton is backstage interviewing him. Drew is laughing at the footage, just kind of chuckling over it. And Kayla Braxton goes, Drew, I wasn't really expecting you to react this way to watching the replay. And then Drew kicks over the TV. So that was the end of it. Drew walks out. Obviously, he's pissed off. So I'm guessing we'll get him facing off against Damian Priest at Clash the Castle, because they're doing that in Scotland this year. So Drew will have his time. His moment will come. He got the WrestleMania W, but he'll have his run in his home country, which I think will be even. It'll be good. It'll be worth it. Up next, we get a women's tag team match between Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, and Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. So this kind of feels like the big blow-off between these 2 teams, because they've been feuding for a few weeks now. Like I said before, I never used to really watch the weekly TV programming for Raw until the last 6 or 7 weeks. So I'd never seen Maxine Dupree in the ring before, but I know a lot of people really hated her, and I don't know why. She seems like she gets it. Like, she seems good to me. I mean, maybe she really has improved a lot, but I didn't see anything wrong with how she did tonight. And anyways, I'm a fan. I think she's good. So this wasn't a very long match. It was maybe 4 or 5 minutes long, but Maxine and Candice were both the legal competitors in the ring. Maxine tries to go for the hot tag on Ivy Nile to get her in, but Indy Hartwell ends up distracting the referee while she's getting the tag. So Ivy Nile runs in, and the referee turns around and picks her up and like throws her back into the corner and starts screaming in her face. And I was like, oh my goodness. He was giving it to her. Anyways, so she was the legal woman, but the referee didn't realize. So Indy Hartwell kicks Maxine Dupree in the face and drags Candice LeRae's body on top of her for the cover. Once the referee and Ivy Nile gets settled down, the referee turns around, counts the pin, and Indy runs to the other side and takes out Ivy Nile from the apron. And Candice LeRae gets the win, gets the pinfall victory. So this is, I don't think this is it between these two teams. Maybe it is, but just a good way to solidify Indy and Candice as like Candice is kind of teaching her how to cheat to win now, you know, because Indy did a fantastic job at, you know, doing the heel job, you know. She did it perfectly. So I like this. Good match. Good segment. Up next, we got a Damian Priest tribute package, which was super nice. I like that they do these tribute packages to show, like, you know, it gives you more insight on who they are, and, you know, makes you feel their personal character a little more than, you know, you don't see them as just a character on TV at that point when you watch those tribute packages. So the Judgment Day is backstage. Out of nowhere, Damian Priest jumps up. He hypes up the squad, you know. He hypes up Dominic for his match up next against Andrade, and he tells JD, you know, go out there. You're gonna sit in his corner. You're gonna get him. And JD goes, oh, I'm fired up. So, you know, JD's ready to go. He's ready to help out. Damian Priest and Finn Balor are left now in the backstage area. Damian Priest tries to help fire up the Prince, you know, because Finn Balor's got a match with Jey Uso, who is Damian Priest's new number one contender. So he hypes him up, and Finn Balor goes off. He goes, you know, I got this. You know, we're good. Thank you for the encouragement. We get a before the show segment now where Chad Gable's in the ring. He's doing reps with the Creed brothers, and he says that, you know, Master Gable knows a lot of Sami's weaknesses as he's been working with him over the last few weeks. So now we get the match between Dominic and Andrade. At one point in this match, it looked like Andrade kind of slipped off the top rope, but he hit his legs and flipped. It looked like he was trying to hit like a split leg moonsault, but he started with his feet up on the top rope. Dominic rolled out of the way, so Andrade just landed on the mat. But I don't know. I watched it back a couple times, and it looked like he might have fallen. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was supposed to look like, but it looked like he slipped and then pulled it off. After this, Dominic hits a fucking destroyer on the apron. He rolls Andrade back into the ring, and Andrade kicks out of a destroyer on the apron. Are you kidding me? Why are we kicking out of destroyers now? What the hell's going on? Anyways, Andrade ends up winning with the message. JD comes into the ring and beats him down after the match, and then Ricochet comes out to have Andrade's back. Next, we get Jey Uso backstage. He's asked what he thought about Friday Night SmackDown and the debut of Tama Tonga. Jay says that, you know, the bloodline is just it's the dark side basically, and you know, he told Jimmy to come to the light side, and, you know, he still wishes he would, but, you know, let's set that aside. He's got something else to look forward to tonight, so he'll catch up with y'all later. Yeet. That's what he said. And then, anyways, next we get another women's tag team match between Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They're facing off against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. So this was a 2-minute match. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven pick up the win after Piper Niven hits her flying crossbody, and Chelsea Green got the roll-up pin to get the victory. So I like this win for them. I like them as a team. I think they make a really good team. I think the way to do this is you have Piper Niven kind of just like take control of these matches and do the damage, and then Chelsea Green takes some sort of credit for it like she did tonight. You know, this is the perfect way to do it. And if they're going to be women's tag team champion, I think they were already, but if they're going to win them again or be legit like women's division contenders, that's the way to go about it. So anyways, next we get a backstage segment with Liv Morgan. She's asked about how she feels about Rhea Ripley now being out because of her. She says she feels like the bad guy now that she's done this to Rhea and that everyone's kind of hating on her. But she said, where was the sympathy when she was out for 8 months after Rhea Ripley tore her shoulder out, I mean, good point by Liv, but I think it's time we boo her. I think it's time we get a heel Liv Morgan, and I'm ready for the revenge tour. Next up, we get the WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes, coming out. Cody still looks so weird with the belt to me. I don't know. The way he holds it, it's like he holds it like a football. It's a little weird. Like he just kind of, I don't know. Why doesn't he just wear it? I think it would just look so cool under his suit jacket, no? Or like hold it around your shoulder. I don't know why he has to be so weird. He holds it weird. I don't get it. I don't like it. Anyways, Cody comes out to the ring. He lets the crowd do their thing for about a minute and a half. The crowd chants Olay. He's just letting them do it, taking it in, smiling at him, laughing at him. Cody hits the crowd with a "De quoi vous parlez tonight?" So he says he hits him with the what do you want to talk about? But in French tonight, which was it was good. It was nice little touch. I wasn't expecting it. So Cody gives his thanks to Seth Rollins. He says, "Seth, I know you're watching at home," and he says, "I just want you to know, he was a big part of everything that he did." Cody also mentions The Rock. He's referring to The Rock's Instagram post that he put up the other day where The Rock was kind of just giving his thanks to everybody. Cody says he doesn't think that when The Rock comes back, he's just going to have one more match. He thinks he's going to have many matches. He thinks he's got a lot more matches left in him. At one point, he calls The Rock manic, which I thought was, a little out of pocket, but, go off. So Cody ends up bringing up the fact that The Rock said that he was going to make him bleed if they ever get in the ring together again. And Cody says, "Rock, if I'm bleeding, you're going to bleed with me." So I'm excited for this Rock and Cody feud that we're going to get down the line. But anyways, he brings out Jey Uso. Cody makes a bunch of yeety dad jokes, which, okay, do it. And on the other hand, now we got Pat McAfee on commentary making the most sexual references you can make with the word yeet. Tonight, Pat says, I think he got a yeet job. I think that's what he said. So I love it. Keep it up, Pat McAfee. You're doing an amazing job. Again, you just make the show that much better. Cody says that Jay is the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, and he's going to go on, and he's going to beat Damian Priest, and he's going to run Monday Night Raw. And when he does that, he knows that Judgment Day is going to try and fuck with him, so he has his back against the Judgment Day. And he wants to, he's asking Jay basically for his permission to, hang with him and, stay in his corner. But Jey Uso says, "You know what, man? I'm main event Jay, yeet. I got it on my own, yeet." So Cody says, all right, I'm out of here. Cody walks out of the ring. He says, "Till we yeet again." So, yeah, that's it. Before this next match now, we get a backstage segment with Nia Jax. She basically says that she's going to run the women's division, and she's going to become the new WWE Women's Champion now that Rhea Ripley has vacated the title. She says there are two types of people in this world. There are people who fear Nia Jax, and there are people who learn to fear Nia Jax. So, big words from Nia there. So, up next, we get the match between Jey Uso and Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes in from behind Jey and beats him down before the match. He comes through the crowd. Typical heel fashion. During this match now, Priest is watching backstage. He's checking on his buddy and making sure nothing's getting out of hand. During this match, another time when it cuts to him in the back watching, he's all right, I've seen enough. Jay's beating him up too much. He's like, all right, I've seen enough. I'm coming to the ring. I'm coming to say hello to Jay. So this was a decent match. A little short, in my opinion, for the level that these two can go at. I think you need to give them a little bit more time. But anyways, Jay ends up hitting his spear tonight, and it looked way better. So shout out to Jay. Well done. And he ends up picking up the win by hitting the Uso splash. So he wins clean. I was thinking Priest would come out and maybe stare him down and intimidate him a little bit, but no, he just won clean. So Finn looks like a bitch, and Priest walks up to the apron. He comes to the ring. He raises his title, And then JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio run into the ring behind Jay, and they attack him from the back. They throw him to the outside. Dominic Mysterio tries to jump onto Jey Uso, but he ends up catching him with a super kick. So he gets a little bit of energy there. He runs out into the crowd. JD McDonough chases him, and Jey Uso ends up throwing JD McDonough into Finn over the barricade. So he gets to escape the Judgment Day. Thankfully, he gets out without too badly of a beating. But he walks out into the crowd. He walks into the Bell Center through the hallways, and he ends up walking outside, and he finds Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is standing outside, setting up his main event match. He looked at the building. He said, I watched my first matches here when I was a kid, and now I'm defending this title in the main event. It's amazing. And Jay's like, yeah, man, you got this. Yeet. So he's out of there. Also before the match, Chad Gable is backstage, and Bronson Reed comes up to him for no reason and basically says, if you win that belt, you hope you better not win that belt because you're going to have to take on me next. So, okay. All right, Bronson. Anyways, so now we get the main event match for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn is defending against Chad Gable. Samantha Irvin announcing this match. She was awesome tonight. She was getting the crowd all into it. This was a good match. I really liked how it was just very technical. It was heavy technical wrestling to start, and then they just start getting into these big, huge spots, and it was amazing. So Chad Gable targets the leg during this match. He really tries to target Sami Zayn's right knee. There was one point where he pulls Sami off the top rope, and Sami gets his knee stuck over the top rope, and it just kind of bends the wrong way. So Chad Gable's trying to target that leg because it's weak. It shows Sami's wife is in the crowd again, cheering him on. Of course, in his hometown. That's where they live. Of course, she'll be at WrestleMania and in his hometown match. Chad Gable, at one point, ends up hitting an angle slam off the top rope, which was sick. Sami got busted open. Not really. Sami got a little cut on his forehead, but during this match, Sami tries to lock in the sharpshooter. Shout out to Bret Hart in Montreal. Screw job. His knee gives out. Chad Gable ends up taking advantage, and he hits a big German suplex into the turnbuckle, and Sami sells it so well. They were pretty close to it, but Sami goes full middle back into the second turnbuckle, so they did it really, really well, and it looked awesome. Sami gets back, or Chad Gable, goes for his moonsault off the top rope. Sami gets the foot up to try and kick Chad in the head, but Chad Gable catches it and turns it into an ankle lock. Sami ends up fighting out. He hulks up. He gets the energy to hit the exploder suplex in the corner and then the haluva kick to get the victory in his hometown. Sami goes out of the ring. He celebrates with his championship. He hugs his wife. And then Chad Gable grabs him from behind and hits him with a German suplex on the outside of the floor. So we get heel Chad Gable, man. Oh, boy. This is going to be so good. I'm glad that this is where they went. I wasn't expecting this. I don't know if anyone else was, but I was not expecting a Chad Gable heel turn right about now. I feel like he's just been in the prime of his babyface run, which for him right now, I think the best thing to do is to make him, they're still gonna love him, but they're gonna boo him because he's a good heel. He's gonna be a fucking dick. I know it, and it's gonna be awesome. So Chad Gable assaults Sami Zayn on the outside of the ring. He throws him into the ring post, and he ends up wrapping Sami's bad leg around the top turnbuckle, puts him in an ankle lock. Sami's got the blood coming off his forehead, and he's tapping out. The referees are trying to break him off, and that's how the show ends. So I really hope we get Sami and Chad for the Intercontinental Championship at Backlash, because a little part of me was really, really wanting Chad to win tonight, but I think with Triple H in charge, he's not going to let these guys lose in their hometown like how Vince would have. If Vince was still in charge, Sami would have lost tonight. But because Triple H is in charge, Chad is now a heel, and I think he should take the belt off him at Backlash. I just think that's the best thing to do. Sami's a tremendous competitor. He definitely earned his place in the history books to be the one that defeat Gunther. But he doesn't need a long title reign, does he? I think Chad could benefit more from the belt right now than he would. And then you can have Sami win it back at SummerSlam, Because I think if Chad takes it off him after a month, Sami feels discouraged, and then that's how Chad kind of has that edge over him. Sami overcomes him and then wins it back. I think that's the way that it should go. But anyways, thanks for listening to the podcast. That's the end of the episode. Let me know what you think. Follow the Instagram. This is awesome PW, and make sure you rate the Spotify if you are listening on Spotify, or rate it on whatever other podcast platform you're listening on. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode.